trend of wind and rain is going to be crossing our country. Not a full-blown storm this time, mind, but it's wind and rain we possibly don't want. So as I say, steady on the roads and stay brave.
We're off to the corner shop to pick up on the celebrations for classic comedy. Open all hours. Next.
We sail for the Fountain of Youth. Have you been there?
Does his face look like it's been to the Fountain of Youth?
Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides.
Is that it? I think so.
Sunday, 29th of December on BBC One.
Dolphins, the cleverest creatures in the ocean. They may seem familiar, but their undersea lives are a mystery.
The spy creatures are back, taking hidden cameras deep into the ocean.
Enter their lives as never before.
Dolphins Spy in the Pod starts Thursday the 2nd of January on BBC One.
There's a hot new HD lineup on 3.
So, Rapunzel, Unicorn. It's a bit more Marge Simpson.
Buy her a drink, be charming, be mysterious.
Can't I just be myself?
No! No, you crazy?
Look at the state of him.
Come to confess my sins.
I'm not sure I have that long.
BBC 3 in the new year. Bring you our best new stuff, all in dazzling HD.
7, 6, 5.
Should have maybe got a large.
A large? Don't talk rubbish.
What size is it?
Extra large.
4, 3.
Let's get a look at you, missus. How are you? No, I don't like your hair like that.
Oh, it's only me. To 10, 2, 1. Happy New Year!
Everyone's invited. 2 Doors Down, New Year's Eve at 9 on BBC One.
Put your feet up and enjoy Len Goodman's Perfect Christmas on BBC One in half an hour. Before that, wasn't it great to have a reunion with Granville last night? We're taking stock on BBC One in a celebration of open all hours.
He was the tight-fisted shopkeeper who just loved to con his customers.
Well, that'll be 97p, love. Thank you. Oh, don't bother about the 3p. You can owe it me. Oh, yeah.
With his trusty nephew and long-suffering assistant.
I'm the errand boy from outer space.
And a gaggle of gossiping regulars.
I'll have a large sliced loaf.
It was the ultimate one-stop shop.
No, I'll take a small one.
In the next half hour, we'll reveal why this hilarious show's quirky characters...
You can't move round here for grocer's in your bosom.
Classic catchphrases...
Granville, fetch your cloth.
Granville, fetch your cloth.
...and slapstick comedy made it a national treasure.
Stop, all right.
5, 4...
Plus, we'll be going behind the scenes of a brand new episode. To take an inside look at the remaking of a British comedy classic.
I look like a muffin, don't I?
And to discover whether they can create a real Christmas cracker.
I don't usually do much for Christmas, but under the circumstances.
Welcome to a celebration of one of Britain's best-loved sitcoms.
It isn't Christmas yet. It feels like it to me.
Doncaster, a town at the heart of the Industrial Revolution and with a proud history based on coal mining and the railways. In the back streets of Bolby sits what looks like an ordinary hair salon. But in fact, it has a very special place in British TV history.
When you look back at all the photographs and that, they were good times then, weren't they? They were. Ronnie Barker and David Jason, I mean, they were very friendly. They were all very friendly.
Nearly 30 years ago, Helen Ibbetson's Hairdressers was the location for Arkwright's store and was the most famous corner shop in the country.
When they used to come last time, they came with big catering vans and big limousines. It was a big spectacular thing. Loads of people came to watch it. Packed with people.
Now there's a fresh buzz in the air. The BBC is planning a new one-off Christmas special of open all hours. And soon the salon will once again be transformed into Arkwright's shop.
If you know, I'd be interested to see them all anyway.
We never thought we'd be doing this again, did we, love?
No, we didn't.
The idea to set a sitcom in a working-class community in Yorkshire first emerged in 1973. Writer Roy Clark was approached by the BBC to script 2 new comedies for Ronnie Barker. And it was Ronnie himself who came up with the idea of setting one of them in a corner shop.
He said, I've always wanted to play one of these little shopkeepers that sell everything. And that was good news to me because my wife was raised in exactly that kind of situation. And at one time, when I was still teaching, she ran a little corner shop.
Roy's experience inspired him to create a man who would soon become Britain's most famous shopkeeper. Enter miserly grocer Albert Arkwright.
It was obvious from word one that Ronnie, as a shopkeeper, was going to be tight-fisted and going to be an old Scrooge as far as he can. And this is where you get the magic of someone like Ronnie. In other hands, that could have been a real mean old scrote that nobody took to at all. But Ronnie could pull that off, and people still liked him.
Hey, Granville, have you been caught in again?
Fat chance. We don't close till 9.
Mrs. Scully said it could have been you she saw coming out of there, Margaret.
You what?
This place on Frith Street. Let me finish.
Open All Hours first hit our screens as a pilot show in March 1973. But even though it was set in the north, the very first episode was actually shot in the streets of Ealing in London. When it came to casting Arkwright's nephew and errand boy, Granville, Ronnie knew the perfect man.
My relationship with Ronnie was built over many years. I suppose our timing was so good, we relied on each other so much. That'll have somebody yet, that. I dread opening that till. I just know one of these days I'm going to find somebody's fingers in there. Mine.
The on-screen double act of Arkwright and Granville worked instantly. But making a northern-based comedy in the capital lacked the right feel for the show's producers.
Wherever you go in London, whatever location you choose, it reeks of London somehow. It doesn't seem to be the north of England.
So 3 years later, when they were commissioned to make a full series, they decided to move it north. Now, its soon-to-be-famous corner shop was firmly set in Doncaster, in South Yorkshire.
Granville, fetch your cloth.
Along with well-known catchphrases, the show featured an array of colourful characters who would soon become family favourites.
There she goes, Granville, Nurse Gladys Emanuel, with her black bag neatly laundered and her blouse tightly packed. Take your time, Mavis. We can't rush a decision like this. Large loaf or small?
£3 odd for a little bag of groceries like that?
Well, I can put it in a bigger bag for you if you like.
Hey up, it's the Black Widow.
She'd put the fear of God into God.
Gladys Emanuel, I think she burnt her bra when she was 12. You know, she was having no nonsense from anybody. She was her own woman.
I like that blouse you've got on there. Ooh, I'd like to browse through that blouse. One afternoon when it's wet, you know.
I'll send it over next time I wash it.
Arkwright's obsession and constant pursuit of Nurse Gladys Emanuel is one of the show's longest-running themes.
Not often you get extras like that on a Morrisman Minor.
It was an ongoing gladiatorial game. And I think she liked that in him.
Oh, heck, she affects me powerfully, that woman. There's something in the way she moves. Like a combine harvester going through a cornfield.
But for every love interest, there was a love rival.
She never cracks a smile. She's very close, very quiet, very stealthy, slightly threatening, a little bit sinister even.
Good day to you, Mrs. Featherstone.
Is it? Maybe it is if you're young and daft. It's like a Sherman tank, actually, moving inexorably onwards, all encased in black camouflage.
Oh. The widow of Featherstone. And what can we do for you that's brisk and impersonal and not necessarily inexpensive?
Oh, it'll be inexpensive. I never waste my money. She was definitely after Arkwright. More probably because he was very good with his money.
Arkwright, though, was ready to dodge her advances.
Are we alone?
No, we're not alone, no. I have men here. I have men working in the cellar. The men are working. There they are.
In fact, Arkwright only had eyes for one woman.
She was violently jealous, as she said. He was blinded by a bigger bosom.
That's fresh from the oven. I don't know, but if you've got anything to spare, I'll take the lot.
My bosom was padded out with the wardrobe mistress's socks, which will ruin the image for half of England.
Dropping into Britain's busiest corner shop was a steady stream of oddball customers who became the lifeblood of the show.
Basically, what you've got there is a little theatre. These guys pop in, do their turn, and then go.
There we are, 2 pints of extra strong exportable and an ounce of black shag. There we are. Now then, anything for Mr. Brocklesby this evening?
Much like the inspiration for the corner shop, many of Roy Clark's larger-than-life personalities were based on people he'd observed.
There has to be, for me, some kind of link with reality for the character to work.
I better have a tin of soup.
Usually you get 40% from one guy and maybe the rest from another one.
A large or small?
Large. No, small.
The way that he has created some of these really wonderfully eccentric characters, well, he's a sort of one-off.
I haven't got a small tin, I'll only have a large tin.
Oh.
Well, I can't cut them in half, maybe. It all flops out, you see. I'll tell you what I will do. I'll sell you one large tin and I'll only charge you for the 2 small tins.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Arkwright.
For the actress playing Mavis, a real-life shopping trip was never the same again.
I always had to make sure that I knew exactly what I wanted. Otherwise, you know, I get a barrage of funny comments about being indecisive.
Every week, customers would come and go, but much of the comedy flowed from 2 characters who rarely left the shop.
The big asset in that show was the chemistry between Granville and Arkwright.
Well, how much? I'm thinking. Come on, my arms are aching up here, and my wallet's aching down here.
It was a writer's dream from word one, because, I mean, looking at the thing calmly, you know, afterwards, where are you going to get a talent like Ronnie Barker and a talent like David Jason in one show? You're never, ever going to get it again.
Well, how much? 28p. Are you sure? Get it writ at 28p.
Ronnie Barker wasn't one of those people who wanted inferior people around him to make himself feel better. You know, he liked having David there because he was funny and fast.
Make it 29.
He was a typical tightwad, but in Ronnie Barker's expert hands, Arkwright became the nation's most lovable shopkeeper.
Ronnie makes it look so easy. That is how clever he is. Because not everybody can do it. And not everybody can do it with the ease with which Ronnie was capable of doing it.
Get your helmet on the counter, will you? Come on. That's all it is. That's right. Come on. Don't worry, I'm not going to do it that way round. You're all right.
Have you seen me, them Arthur just...
There goes a regular order for half a dozen razor blades.
Ronnie Barker had no great ego, so he treated you as being as important as himself, which is, apart from being very flattering, is comforting.
Come, Bill. Go on. Come on. Watch this, look, the bounty hunters. Come on, look. You like those, don't you?
Aye, lovely.
Yeah, put your money in the till.
It was a joy and a pleasure to work with such a great man.
There was one shop regular which captivated millions and even threatened to upstage Arkwright himself.
Oh, I hate this till.
Go on, get on with it, won't bite you.
Ronnie Barker used to say the snapping till's building its part, you know, because it seemed to loom larger.
You wouldn't want to get your hands caught in it, let me put it that way. So you have to treat it with a great deal of respect. The snapping till has a mind of its own, and if you dally with your hands in there too much, you will lose your fingers.
Of course, it didn't really have a mind of its own.
The assistant floor manager was on the other end and pulled a string, and of course we were all frightened about catching Ronnie's fingers.
If you're going to risk that vicious spring clip, I don't want to look. You just tell me when it's all over.
Oh, don't be daft, you only have to jiggle it a bit.
And once, in fact, he did actually catch Ronnie's fingers.
Slapstick comedy became one of the show's key features and a source for some of its classic moments.
If you can find the right physical bits, that's where the belly laughs are.
A fan's favourite is when Granville discovered some false legs dumped in a dustbin.
He sticks them out of the basket so it looks like he's got a sort of upside-down female in there. And then he puts them underneath his pinny and sitting on a seat in the park. And then he sticks them either side of a bloke underneath a car. And it was just a great funny sequence, and I enjoyed doing that very much.
But for millions of viewers, there was an even more memorable trademark of the series.
I have the difficulty formulating my words.
I think Ronnie did it brilliantly. I mean, it was utterly truthful. It was a completely natural stutter.
It all started when we had
It's no good. You know I can't understand Morse code.
I used to stutter when I was a child, so I was worried that Dad would join in.
There's enough dirt on there to fill the black hole of Calcutta, the black hole of the black hole of the Hanging Gardens of Babylon.
I think now if you had a character created who did stutter, I think you might have a problem with that these days because it might be seen as not politically correct.
Oh, good morning, Mrs. Jackson.
Through 4 series from 1976 to 1985, Open All Hours charmed the nation. From Arkwright's obsession with fleecing his customers...
That's few what at the old price?
We'll worry about that when we get them inside.
...to his continuing quest to win the heart of Nurse Gladys.
Hello, Gladys Emanuel. Nice to see you looking so cheerful.
And Granville's failed lessons in love.
OK, I'm your prisoner. Do with me what you will.
By the mid-1980s, it was pulling in nearly 19 million viewers and was Britain's most popular TV show. But suddenly, at the height of its success, Arkwright and Granville shut up shop.
One day, Granville, all this will be yours. A lock, stock and barrel.
It's nearly 30 years since the last series was produced, and on the streets of Bolby, filming of a brand new episode is due to get underway in just 2 days' time. But before the cameras can start recording, a BBC set design team needs to transform the hairdressing salon into Arkwright's store.
It's exactly as it was all those years ago. I mean, this is mind-blowing. You know, this is such a rare thing to happen because what premises has remained the same, was it nearly 30 years? The plan of action, we've all arrived here at 8 o'clock this morning. We've got Chippy starting there, the boys are unloading the lorries, and gradually during the course of the day, the thing will evolve.
It's just an ordinary hairdresser shop. But when you see that stuck there again, you think, oh, he's up, he's coming back.
Word certainly spreads fast, and the return of this iconic show is causing quite a stir in the neighbourhood.
It's nice that, you know, that they bring it back. It's come home, really, after all this time. I mean, it's nearly 30 years since the last series were made, and so it's nice. I think they thought that it would never happen again.
Mum used to tell me stories that she used to come down in pushchair. She used to stand at the corner or by the gully just watch them filming. It's fantastic. It's basically it's a British institution. I can't wait to see it filmed.
Such is the excitement of the return of the show, others have travelled from far and wide to catch a glimpse of this famous shop.
Well, we've come all the way from Burton-on-Trent this morning, and as soon as we found out this was happening, we left home, and here we are, an hour later, outside Arkwright's Emporium.
Transforming the hair salon into Arkwright's shop is a huge task, and to make it true to life, every single detail counts. It takes a 6-person team of designers, propsmen and art directors 2 full days to pull off this massive makeover. And it's only by late Sunday afternoon that they're applying the finishing touches.
We're really well on the way now. I reckon about another hour will see us kind of fairly fit to be ready for the cameras tomorrow morning, bright and early.
8 a.m. and it's the start of filming of the Christmas special.
Sir David to you.
Sir
David. Yeah.
As more than 50 crew and production team take to the streets of Bolby and Doncaster, the crowds are already swelling. They're beginning to shoot a new episode for the first time since 1985.
I do feel that it can't possibly be 28 years since the last episode of Open All Hours. It must be yesterday afternoon. And it's so nice to do it again. It's such a laugh. As though we never went away.
For the original cast members, it's a reunion they could never have dreamed would happen.
It's great to be back in the shop. It's as though we'd never left it.
The delight in revisiting it is quite wonderful.
Despite heavy rain, hundreds gather in the streets to witness the first of 3 days filming at the shop.
The people were so warm and receptive and so keen to see it back. They stood patiently watching us all. Some of them stood there all day.
A couple came and said, I used to watch you filming when I was a little girl, and here's my daughter come to watch you today. And it was quite moving.
2 big fans who grew up in these streets are Wayne Burton and Jane Lane. It's the first time they've met for 25 years, and both have fond childhood memories about the show.
We used to sit on the step, didn't we?
We did,
quite
didn't
a lot,
we?
yeah, to play and be in the background.
Yeah.
So how old would you have been then? You're older than me, aren't you?
Last time they come, I think it was 83. I think I was about
82.
12.
Oh, I was 9.
Were you?
Yeah, so we're showing our age now.
We are, aren't we? Just a little bit.
That street felt as though they owned us then, and they still feel as though they own us.
Take 3.
How are we, Mrs. Featherstone?
Call me Delphine.
In Roy Clark's Christmas special, Granville has inherited the shop from Arkwright and is now in charge. But he's still doing battle with some very familiar faces.
Your Uncle Arkwright would turn in his grave. He was never one for mixing business with pleasure. Believe me, I tried.
Roy Clark gave us so much fun and silliness in the original series, and I'm absolutely delighted to say that his skill has not diminished one iota.
I have trained 2 husbands to an early grave.
And it's a bit difficult for me because this time I'm playing the Ronnie B part, and it's huge. It's got a lot of words to remember in such a short time. So at the moment, I'm still struggling.
There's also a lot resting on the shoulders of James Baxter, who plays Granville's son, Leroy.
Coming into it, I was and still am aware of the enormity of the show, but I just sort of had to take solace or take comfort in that I am working with a legend. David's really helped me settle in.
That'll cost you. You need to trade for us.
He's very fun to work with.
It's been a busy day's filming for the whole team.
Front cover of the Radio Times, please.
And they're overcome with the welcome they've received from the people of Doncaster.
After the first few takes, people were applauding in the streets. I've never seen that happen before. Just there seems to be so many smiles everywhere. We feel hugely welcome.
As they record the final scene of the day,
Your note arrived safely, Granville, tucked in among my groceries.
the cast and crew know there's plenty of work still ahead of them.
19, take 2 on the end.
It's now 2 weeks later. With the location filming completed, final rehearsals are underway for the recording of the whole show in front of a live studio audience.
You leave us a few free samples and we'll see how it goes.
It's a huge day for the team, and it's the first time that fans will have the chance to see the full show and deliver their verdict.
And making any comedy programme is risky. There's always the chance that we might make something that we think works and, you know, nobody else agrees.
The demand for tickets has been phenomenal. The producers have received more than 28,000 applications for just 360 places. So there's a lot at stake.
We all have fond memories of it. We all loved it. And I do think it's kind of ripe for a return. So, you know, tonight's the night, and we hope it goes well.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, action!
The big question is, will the audience love the new episode just as much as they did the originals?
David and I both agreed, if it's not broken, don't mend it. So keep it as close as we can to what it was.
Warming up out there, is it?
You're a deadpan lot around here.
There's something about the tone. It's absolutely Roy Clark.
I look like a muffin, don't I?
You look as though you could do with a drink.
I do, I need a drink.
And it feels very similar to the original Open All Hours.
You need a drink, he says, and charges me for the bottle. It's a lair. Granville, remember, this is a lair. And if you enter it, you pay per paddle. It's a jungle round here.
For Roy Clark, keeping a presence of Arkwright in the new show has been one of his biggest challenges.
That huge absence is going to be there in everybody's mind when they see this. And so you might as well face it and use it.
You'll never get rid of all this anchovy paste.
Don't worry, I'll shift it. You forget that I was trained.
For my mind, for my money, Ronnie's still there.
I was trained by the master.
If he could see us, if he is watching, he'd be laughing his head off.
The show's gone down a storm, and the audience's reaction is unanimous.
Absolutely fantastic. Yeah, absolutely great.
Just seeing David Jason, it's a dream.
Smashing, beautiful. Really enjoyed it.
It might be 40 years since the very first episode.
You taught me some stuff, didn't you?
But it's clear that Open All Hours still holds a special place in the heart of the nation.
It's been a great trip down memory lane for me.
Good morning, Granville.
Good morning, Mavis.
I've had a ball.
Do you know that the small grocer makes an ideal pet?
I've always known that it's very special. Very, very special. I think we are ready to take us to the next level. And working on it again, of course, you are even more aware of how clever and how funny it is. It is the age of the cougar.
In order to do comedy well, you have to have a sense of the ridiculous and you have to have a sense of fun.
Lower your end.
It's the story of my life.
And so put those elements all together, and you can't wait to get back to work, really, because it's not like work, it's just like having a party.
Ladies and gentlemen, the prize is wrong. Granville, come on down.
I think Open All Hours was unique. I don't believe that any of us knew that it would stand the test of time the way it has.
Blah, 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 blah. Bloody burglars.
It's held in affection, I think. I think that's the secret of its success. It's held in great affection.
Now, isn't it time silly old fools were in bed?
Thought you'd never ask.
How long can they keep the lid on the scandal? The second part of Murder Mystery, Death Comes to Pemberley, is tonight at 9 on BBC One. Next up, it's Arlene from Strictly, giving us the perfect Goodland Christmas entertainment.
Around Christmas time, I like to visit and help those people less fortunate than us, the needy. So, I'm going to share with you my recipe for your leftover turkey. First, we start with onion base, some chilies, some spices, then the turkey. Put it in the oven. Hey, tough guy, try one of these. For leftover turkey curry recipe, go to bbc.co.uk/Christmas.
It's New Year's Eve! Join me with the stars of Anchorman 2, Joan and Jackie Collins, the Monty Python team, Frank Skinner and Michael Booth.